Hi guys, welcome back to Goodbye Greens. I'm Alicia and today we are going to be making some ribs. We're actually going to be making these in the oven. I unfortunately do not own a smoker. My dad has one and he makes some amazing smoked ribs, but I'm going to make a little bit of a twist on the ribs that he makes using some different seasonings, and I'm going to be using the oven because I would guess most people have access to one of those. So for our ingredients, we have 3 small racks of, they're not full racks, obviously they're cut. So it's about 5 pounds worth of baby back ribs. These are pork baby back ribs. We have some granulated garlic, some white pepper this time instead of fresh cracked black pepper, kosher salt because I can't make a video without featuring kosher salt. Cumin. We have both regular ginger that we're going to peel and grate, and then also a little bit of ground ginger. We have a spice called, and I believe it's pronounced fenugreek. Fenugreek. I will list it in the ingredient list. I bought this in the bulk spice area at Sprouts. We have some cardamom, a little bit of tomato paste, and then we're going to be using some grass-fed butter. Now, if you don't want to have any butter at all, or if you're allergic to, the small amount of dairy that would be in grass-fed butter, you could probably exchange the same amount of some other type of paleo oil, or maybe clarified butter might work a little bit better for you, clarified grass-fed butter. So you can use that. So let's get started. Okay, so as you saw, I have a baking sheet that's lined with foil that I have the ribs on top of. Now the first thing that you want to do is actually peel the membrane that's off of the back of your ribs. You don't absolutely have to do this, but I think it's a pretty important step. So as you can see, it almost looks like saran wrap, sorry, a plastic wrap. It's pretty see-through. I mean, as you can see my nail kind of coming through there. So you just want to kind of carefully hold on to your ribs with one hand and kind of just pull this with the other one. You kind of want to carefully be able to do it because it will come off in pieces, but as best you can try to pull this membrane off of the back of your ribs. Okay, so now that we've removed the membrane, we are going to add some of the seasoning. So we're going to be adding some kosher salt, and you want to do both sides of the ribs. You could certainly concentrate the seasoning towards the top, but you also want to season the underneath side. So you have kosher salt and a little bit of white pepper. You're going to be putting on slightly less pepper than salt. And then some of the granulated garlic and a little bit of the ground ginger. Now you can just kind of pat the seasoning into the meat. And now you can wrap these ribs up and store them in the fridge overnight at this point to allow the flavors to marry. So after you've allowed the ribs to sit in the fridge overnight, you don't have to do it overnight, you could just do it for a few hours. You just want to allow a little bit of the seasoning to seep into the meat. We are going to put some aluminum foil. It usually takes 2 pieces for me. And you want to tightly, is what I do. Since I have to use 2 pieces, I take it and I just slightly bend it, like you almost make it like a triangle. Let me see. Make it like a triangle and just push one piece down. This way you're not allowing any of the steam out. And you can just kind of press down, and then you want to re-crimp the edges on the sides because you want to keep all that steam in. And we are going to put this into a 325-degree preheated oven. This is going to take at least about an hour and a half, maybe a little longer. You want to have your meat, the pork, baby back pork ribs, to register about 200 degrees, maybe a little less. You want the fat to start to melt and flavor the meat, and also the meat to become tender. So we'll be back. So while the ribs are cooking in the oven, we're going to make a butter seasoning kind of blend that we are going to paint onto the ribs towards the end of their cooking. So I have 3 tablespoons of my grass-fed butter that's just been slightly melted. As you can see, it's not melted all the way through, but it's pretty darn close. So to this, we're going to add a little bit of tomato paste, some cumin. We're going to add a little bit of our cardamom. Some of our fenugreek. Just another pinch of salt. And then we are going to grate in some of our ginger. Okay, now we can stir all of this together. And once our ribs reach about 190 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, when we take the temperature with the meat thermometer, we're going to take it out, and we are going to use kind of like a basting brush that looks like this, and we are going to baste this butter blend on top of the ribs and then stick it into a 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes to kind of crisp up the top of the skin and to allow this butter to kind of seep in with all of its seasonings. Okay, so I just pulled our ribs out of the oven. They're registering right around 190 degrees. They were in there for a little over an hour and 35 minutes, close to an hour and 40 minutes. So now I've increased the temperature of the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit from 325. And I'm going to take our butter blend that we just made and a basting brush. And now if you don't have a basting brush, you can certainly just use a spoon and kind of carefully spread it around. But a basting brush is super easy, and this I got for like a couple dollars somewhere. And it's silicone, so you can pop it into the dishwasher. So you're just going to take the butter blend and paint onto the top of the ribs. Now that the butter seasoning blend has been painted on top of the ribs and the oven is up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to pop this back in without the foil on so that we could start to brown the top of the ribs and get them nice and crispy. Okay, so I just pulled our ribs out of the oven. They were in there for about 20 minutes at 400 degrees uncovered. As you can see, they got a little bit more brown on the top and a little crispier, and the extra 20 minutes also allowed the seasoning to kind of help penetrate into the meat. So now they're ready for serving. I hope you'll give this rib recipe a try. It's a great alternative if you don't have a smoker. Feel free to play around with the spices and seasonings a little bit to your taste, and also with whatever you kind of have around the house. So as long as the meat is tender, it's going to be tasty. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.